Pleiadian. You look Pleiadian today.
Oh, do I?
I caught one of your shows recently. It was really good.
Oh, did you? Which one?
Uh,
Now, now I'm making you think.
yeah, I don't know. I think it was a guy on there.
Oh, okay.
I watched part of it. It was good though. It was a good subject. Yeah, I think it was a guy. That helps you a lot. Have you been doing a lot of shows?
Only just starting to do a little bit more now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I haven't talked to you in a while. How's I don't know
It
what
was
happened March 31st, but it seems like since March 31st, these solar flares and storms and um, yeah, Schumann resonance. We just had on S.A. Smith. She's a girl in the universe. She's been putting out some pretty good stuff, and she was talking about Pleiadians or other galactics sending energy through the backside of the moon. Like there's all these energies hitting us, and now we
yeah.
got a red moon, a red full moon, and eclipse this weekend.
Yeah, in Scorpio.
I don't know what that means.
That's a nervous laugh.
Is it? Why is it a nervous laugh? Is that because you're Scorpio or something?
No, no, I'm Pisces, but I have a few
Hmm.
Scorpio placements.
That's right.
Yeah,
You're the same birthday as Morgan. That's right. Forgot about
yeah.
that. How could I forget? My sister. So, how the last few weeks been to you? How's that been going?
Um, Look, I feel like I am managing as much peace as I can through chaotic storms.
Really?
It's probably the best way to put it. It's been heavy. It's been a lot. It's been challenging, but I'm smiling through it all.
Yeah.
Whereas the old me a year, 2 years, 3 years ago would have just been frantic. My head would have been out, my
Yeah.
hair would have been out here, and I'd be screaming. And no, I'm exaggerating, but
I don't
yeah,
think you are. I don't think you are. Because, uh, I mean, I think we forget how far we've come.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, really.
yeah.
And you're right. Through everything of the last few weeks, which has been wild, yeah, you're smiling most of the time. It's weird.
And laughing a lot.
Yeah, I try to laugh a lot. Are you finding your connection is getting stronger? I mean, overall,
Mhm. Yes, yeah.
are you having like anything going on, like just like when you're connecting or dream state or visitation or anything? Is it picking up?
Yeah, 24/7. I mean, I've kind of joked with some of my friends recently and said, like, I'm so tapped in and so psychic, for lack of a better word, intuitive right now. Like, ask me anything. I feel like I can hone in, and I feel like that was like in the beginning, around the Kundalini awakening for me. It was like 24/7. It was like I look at a person, I scan them. It's, I was at a function on the weekend and I couldn't help myself. My friend said, "Stop it, Alicia." I said, "What?" And he goes, "You're literally like eyeballing it." And I'm like, "I can't help it. It's like I'm
I, t-
scanning people."
I told Morgan this a couple days ago. Because obviously doing the show and you do a show and you try to explain this stuff and it becomes more unexplainable. But that's one of the things I said to her. I said, have you ever seen the Terminator movies?
Yes.
And she hadn't, but where the whole visual comes up and it's all digital and you're scanning everything. I said that's what I feel like. It feels something
Yeah.
like that. You know,
Exactly.
you talked about the intuition and the telepathy of what somebody else is feeling, what they're actually saying or not saying. I mean, there's all these things that come into play, and I find myself communicating much, much less, almost
Mm.
non-existent communication. I try, and I just can't do it. It's either I'm talking to Morgan or I'm alone. And most of
Mm-hmm.
the time when I'm alone, there's no music, there's no nothing, no TV, just I don't even know what I'm doing.
I found that too, because normally I like to be in contact with people and talking to people all the time, and maybe in the last week and a half, it's almost like I need to create space
Yeah.
of silence because there's so much bombarding my field, especially the non verbal language. Like it's because I can telepathically communicate and feel and sense so much that it's like at times I'm like, right, everyone get out of my space. I just need to be with me right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And I try to be careful what I'm saying. Like, I'll get back with you, but
yeah, exactly.
I don't say when I'll get back with you because I don't know, and I can't. It's a full time thing. We've talked about this before.
Mm.
What about like on an energetic basis? I know you're carrying with you a lot of the code of energetic new frequencies or new babies or however you want to put it. Has anything changed on that end? I mean, I assume that it's still going on around the earth and it will make more
Yeah,
sense as time goes on, but what are you picking up on that?
yeah, that's a really good question. People ask me that, I'm like, oh, so much has happened. But I would say this year, especially for me, is really about a lot of physical embodiment. And I've had to clean up a lot of things like my diet and, change a lot within my body structure. So I feel like there's a physicality process that's in progress that has been the best part of this year. Um, and sometimes I go into phases where I'm very connected and tapped into that aspect of what I'm carrying energetically and the birthing process and the gestation process. And then other times I don't want to say distracted, but I guess there's other things that I need to attend to.
Mm.
And I feel like, in summary, this process for me, especially this year, is creating a lot of space for that to occur. And it's like, and I'll be honest with you, Todd, like it's upending every aspect of my
Is
life.
it really? And you're laughing your way through it, which is great.
Yeah. I mean, at the moment, I'm carless, and that's been so I had issues with my car about a fortnight ago, and I just got it back, and I paid a lot of money to fix it, only to have a car accident 2 days later, and now I'm.
Oh my God, I was just asking S.A. Smith about this because I asked her when she started to get the word because she's been doing a lot of videos about the 3 days of darkness and the flash, and she's probably the first person I've ever listened to that actually went, you know what? And maybe it's because of the energy itself, like the way it's ramped up. It
Yeah.
feels like something's going on. And I said, when did you first hear that? She said, well, I started hearing it a year ago. And I started thinking about all the changes people have gone through in the last year. So many people, hitting the road, and
Mm,
Morgan and I, go to different countries. I mean, there's just like something bigger is going on. And I said it would make sense. It feels like it's been a deep preparation, and that sounds like kind of like what you're going through. Not necessarily because of something karmic, but simply because your higher self or the universe or whatever wants you to be in a certain place at a certain time. You
yeah.
know,
I'm being
some
positioned
yeah,
is how I see it for
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Do you think you're going to be moving around,
It's a
or you
really
mean
good question.
position frequency wise position?
Yeah, position in a lot of ways, like physical material things are changing for me. Look, I always saw or felt into this year that I would be moving around a lot, but I have no desire to leave my house at the moment.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I
I'm
mean,
with
that
you.
could change in an instant, but I mean, right now, look, I said this on the last recording I did with Dale. There's something I tapped into in January, and it's coming back to my mind a little bit recently, that there will be this standstill globally, like a lockdown, but it's not virus related. And I saw it. It was winter, so coming into the colder months now, And I did feel that it comes in waves. It's like I pick up on it and then it kind of dies down. It's like the altering of timelines as we're shifting, and then some days I'm at the grocery store and I'm like, oh, I've got to like get a few extra things or get candles or things like that, and then I forget about it. But there's this quiet lull, right? And it's like, it seems a little too quiet. Like there's this kind of
Yeah.
pause, and it's like
Yeah.
it makes you uncomfortable because it's like,
It
what's
reminds
about
me.
to?
It reminds me of that horror movie Friday the 13th, where at the end they're looking at the pond and it's like glass.
What's wrong with the 13th here right
Oh
now?
yeah, I know. Goddess Day, right?
Goddess Day, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Talking to people, obviously, it's interesting hearing everybody's take on everything, but it just feels to me like something's imminent. I don't know what that means,
Yeah.
but like I've been saying to myself, and I feel like I'm picking up on it from other people as well, that it's right there. Like I can
Mm,
go through a portal and be in Australia right there, right?
mm,
Like it's almost like nothing is real except for what I can imagine, is how I would
mm,
put it.
mm,
And I'm being kind of like weaned off of everything that I thought was real. And it's taken it to such a deep degree that I'm wanting to explore that. Have
yeah.
you had any like feeling or sensitivity towards like what we call New Earth, or what the hell's going on, or is it happening, or
That's such a good question. I wouldn't say not in the recent times, like, and when I say that, like in the last week or two, I kind of been going through
yeah,
a lot of more emotional stuff. But prior to that, and that's what happens is the high waves of energy come in, and I'm like, wow, like you're talking about the veil and like New Earth's just there, and like, oh, I just peel back and I can do anything, I can create anything. Um, and then, yeah, I think that for me was actually, it was around the time of the X class, when the sun energy ramped up, and I was in quite a high energy space. I remember standing in my kitchen and I was like, this is so overwhelming. The amount of light that's coming in. I feel like, and I think you and I were in sync because you shared a meme and I laughed. I was like, oh my goodness. I felt like I was going to like explode into light. There was just so much energy that I was like, I'm going to like just, and
yeah.
then reappear in a whole new
I don't know
reality.
if that's the one with the with the little black cat and all her hair is like sticking straight up, but she's got this look in her eyes like. But I can remember a couple of moments like that where you're just
Mm,
going, "Wow, am I losing it, or am I dying, or I mean, it's like crazy." Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's it's everything, and it's very accelerated, and everything's happening and moving so quickly. And I
yeah,
think that's you know a result of how many people are going through this process now.
yeah.
You know, a collective.
Yes, I mean that number is becoming something that can't be ignored. I think certainly in the energetic field, but there's so many people on board, and every practitioner you talk to says the same thing. There's more and more people coming to the party. I think the other thing that's interesting too is, there was this whole thing for 2 years with the COVID and all that other stuff, and you guys have these thunderstorms and bad
Mm,
severe weather, which I think they're having right now,
mm,
and all that stuff just isn't really sticking anymore. I don't see people just being crazy about it like they were 2, 3, 4 years ago. I
mm,
mean, even
mm.
like over here, like we had this whole abortion thing, and I mean, for as much as the media puts it out there, it just doesn't carry any weight. It's like it's weird. It's almost like, what, do I
Certainly.
just start ignoring everything that's, like it's not even there? I don't know.
I mean, some people said, like, someone brought that abortion, and I was like, what?
Yeah, right. Well, there you go. That's the way to be. Yeah. And see that, and that's really what I'm talking about. Like, it's not even, soon it won't even be ever brought up, kind of thing.
No.
All these things. And I'm talking about the whole thing, not just an issue, but even like borders or restrictions or mandates or anything. People, I'm just wondering what people are just going to be like, well, yeah, well, it's not
Yeah.
even there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm,
It's like that timeline dissolves and then it's almost erased.
yeah.
Even there's no, it doesn't exist and there's no memory of it.
And then those periods, like you're talking, where, the energy comes in, you're like, whoa, one way or the other. And then you go through like 2 or 3 days and you're like a zombie. I mean, and it's weird because you're functioning to what you need to function to, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just like, I don't know. I don't know.
I find like I'm going through a phase right now that I would consider myself in a releasing or purge
Mm,
phase right now. But it's different because I can still function. I have all my senses heightened, where normally that would be dulled down or switched off. I can get through everything that I need to get through, yet I have these pockets and outbursts where
hmm,
I'm having intense memories come back, and then I'm crying, and then the next minute I'm like, oh, it's gone. It's gone. And then the next wave comes through, and
yeah.
it's an interesting time,
Well, these last
certainly.
3 weekends have been just one on top of the other. And
Mm.
last weekend, yeah, I was in that state. Then Monday, I was in like 6 hours of, I just told Morgan I got to be alone. Something's going on, or I don't even think I had to tell her; she knew. And
Mm.
yeah, I did that though. I went through this crying thing, and it wasn't even like boohoo crying. It was just like sitting on the couch, and all these tears are just coming out. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I actually traced it that day to what else? Victim consciousness, like this low
Yeah.
level, subtle victim. What is this? What is this? Why did I feel this? And then it get down to it, and it's victim consciousness in a different
Hmm.
way that I'd never seen before. So I'm not complaining. If that's the only event, 6 hours in a week, that's not bad. It's not like it used to be.
Right? Very, very efficient of you, Todd. 6 hours in a
Yeah.
week.
Yeah. Yeah. The God, I still feel like that Australia is ground zero, and I know these storms just picked up. I think you got like 10 days of rain in the forecast. I mean, the people over there, they're I don't want to say unconscious energy, but the energy that we aren't as aware of that we're putting out all the time, whether we're waking or sleeping or whatever. I mean, I just feel like that there's going to be. I understand there's a pretty big protest in Queensland, like 500,000 people or something coming up. And you have elections coming up. I just got to feel that
Yeah.
if we're going to see
Yeah.
something, some element of collective reversal, we might see it down there first.
Look, I hope so. I hope so. And um, I think I think that sense of like stillness and also a level of it's a little bit uncomfortable because of the stillness because you kind of know something's brewing here, specifically speaking in Australia. And I guess with the elections, it just, yeah, there's something. I feel like something's about to topple or tip, or I don't, I
Yeah.
don't know
Well,
exactly.
it would
Yeah.
have to, given all the work that's been done, all the energy that's been generated, and the people that are connecting. You would think. It's funny you say that because I heard, uh, a quote. I heard my higher self, myself, was telling me something a couple of days ago. I was going through something. It was pretty cool, and it said, "The only thing you don't know is what the silence doesn't tell you." Something like that. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? I'm like, okay, well, there's always that element of you've got to be open to, right? Like, and oftentimes we look at that and go, oh, I don't want something bad to happen, but it's the other thing. Like, at some point, we're going to see beyond our own experience evidence of all this crazy stuff we've been talking about all this time, all these experiences we're having.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
not going to be stopped.
No, no. And I welcome that. And even like you're saying, that anxious feeling of something bad's going to happen, even that's transformed too.
Yeah.
Because before I went into this phase now, which I think has been going since Easter, to be honest, I felt it coming. And in the past, I would have gone, oh my God, I'm heading for a tower moment. No,
You're still in a tower moment right now,
I'm
aren't you?
still in a tower moment. And I had that initial response that the previous response of like, oh no, surely not, no, 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 and kind of a resistance. And I was like, you know what? I'm a different person now, and whatever comes my way,
Yeah. I got
eh,
an endless supply of fucks, right, and here's a couple you can have. No, but you're right. And this has been going on a while, but it's uh, happening faster. And I'm talking about like anything that we start playing in our head.
yeah,
I can't even recall that lifestyle, and I don't know how long it's been, but they don't stand. Like
mm,
anything that's not real just doesn't stand. Even if you want to be mad or you want to do this or you want to do that, you just like it doesn't work. It's not part
mm,
of what's sustaining itself. So I guess we'll see what happens. But it to me, I don't know. Are we going to have an aha moment? Are we having an aha moment every day? Are we going to see our galactic brothers and sisters show up, or you know?
wow.
Are you
I mean,
getting? Is your team present at the moment, or are you in one of those phases where they're like, okay, you're on your own right
no,
now?
no, no, no. And I look, I am super aware of the energetic battling that's occurring, you know, um, at nighttime. I feel like at nighttime I don't want to say combat, but I feel like
Yeah.
there's a battle going on for sure that I'm aware of, and to some extent through my multidimensional self participating in. Um, but then there's also beauty to it too. There's a contrast, and then there's also being aware of my internal process of the internal battle that's trying to balance out. So it's micro macro.
Right.
But I will say this. I mean, my place is where I'm most connected is water, so shower, bathroom, bath, kitchen sink, and
Kitchen sink. just, I'm just going to clip a water bottle to my pocket, to my belt. No, I mean you're a Pisces for Christ's sake. I'm fire. I just want to burn everything down. Just want to build a fire.
well, I've been burning stuff too recently, but I just look. I'm almost intimidated to have a bath at this point because the craziest stuff happens while I'm laying in the bath.
You're going to be stinky before too long. Uh, no, so you're getting like, so that's what you mean. You're getting like major downloads if you take a bath.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Like I in my mind, my human self said, Alicia, only once a week because you can't. It's too
Really?
much energy to process. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So I mean, the shower's less intense. Yeah, but even like I'll have a shower and it's not a dread, but it's like, oh, there's so much going on. Guys, can you just like let me just have a shower in peace?
Well, I think that's come through though, through a lot of people's experience, particularly these last few weeks, which is our teams, or however you want to put that, are very, very excited.
Yes.
Like, like really, really excited.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that just feeds more to the thought or the possibility or the potential that we could have this big aha moment.
Mm.
You know, I mean, or maybe not. Maybe it's the most seamless thing that we won't even feel it. I don't know.
Look, I'll be honest with you, Todd. Like, I've been saying this for years and I still stand on this. I came here to witness the greatest show, you know? So whether we're talking solar flash, you know, whatever, however it unravels, I want bells and whistles and like rainbows and fireworks, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'll be really disappointed if it's not like this grand experience. And I mean, I joke tongue in cheek about that. I'm like, I want a refund. Like, I didn't
I
go
want a
through all.
refund. I want a refund.
I mean,
Uh,
I
well,
probably need.
you know, Morgan and I were just talking just before this show about this same type of thing, and she said, like, what we were just talking about, like, where's it going to go, or whatever. And she was like, I know this is going to sound egoic, but I think after all we've done, we deserve, deserve makes it. I said, I don't think that's egoic. I really feel like it's that we're going to get the full, equal, energetic exchange that we signed up for, and we've grossly uh, underestimated our the value of our shadow and our traumas and our life. Like we're it's the greatest show on earth or on the in the universe for a reason, and we're front and center stage.
Yeah, yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm glad that you had that conversation because I feel bad verbalizing that, but it's how I truly feel. I'm like, and I think I'm not just speaking for myself. I know I'm speaking for many. I know
Oh,
it's
you speaking
it's
for me? Yeah.
yeah, um, been one wild ride, and the tears and the tantrums and the screaming and the pleading and the ego deaths and you
Yeah.
know,
No kidding. No kidding. Right. I went through a little death experience last night, and it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad at all. It was interesting because I went into the void. Like the whatever was dying just left, and then I was like, oh, I'm back here in the void, and yeah, you're nothing, but I can access everything. That whole that
yeah.
point. So I don't know. That's got to be going on with a lot of people, but yeah, yeah. I think that enough memories come back, even though it might be faint. That yeah, we came here. There's a hell of a story unfolding here, and
Hmm.
it's going to be a hell of a party. And I've been saying that for years. So
It sure is. I mean, I think I had a taste of that in the beginning of the year. I was very social, spent a lot of time connecting with Soul Fam and then, as the cycles do, then it was like, oh no, I need to like step back. I need to, you know, and I've been physically quite unwell too.
oh
So
really?
that's kind of like um, been it's been a process of reevaluating everything around my physical health.
Wow. I hope you're feeling better.
I am actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed cycles and I kind of laughed because I like to connect dots. And
Yeah.
I laughed because I'm in a 1 year numerology, a
Okay.
personal 1 year. And I look back and the last 2 1 years that I've had, I've gone through massive physical transformation, overhauled my diet, my eating. I've changed cars. Like the pattern is legit, like
You're right.
insane. Yeah, and dyed my hair dark. So what do you know? Like,
Here you go again.
here
Yeah,
we go
I've
again.
I noticed it last year with this time of year last year because Morgan had gone to Australia and then Soulogy Fest was coming, and then everything came back from 10 years before. Like when I
Yeah,
reawoke and everything, and I was very aware because it scared me for a second. I thought, "Holy shit! Am I going to go on the streets again?" And all this, and then I looked at the energy of it, and I saw the same energy presenting itself, and then having the heads up on what it was. Yeah. So do you think that or can you connect the dots between what's happening with you physically versus like where is it stemming from, like previous lives or things that you haven't brought into equilibrium?
yeah, yeah, yeah. My new terminology is I'm tracking and tracing a lot of things, and one of the physical aspects that I've been dealing with, which is a lot around diet, and it it kind of exacerbated and blew up around February. And I've done, this is an ongoing issue that I've had throughout my life. It's been woven through. But it was the worst I've ever had to get under control, which means no sugar. Like, it basically means I'm eating vegetables.
eating, eating porridge, eating GMO free. What is that called? Gluten free.
And I have traced that back. There's a lot of inner child stuff occurring with me right now.
Okay.
And I noticed the parallels between when I first got diagnosed with that as an 8-year-old child and had to go on a very strict diet, and what is occurring now. And I feel like I'm in a completion of that phase and that cycle, because I do believe that I can overcome this permanently. And I'll be honest with you, where I've tracked it, because I've looked at all the aspects. I've looked at the physical, the emotional, the mental, blah, 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 blah. But now I'm sort of tracing it, and I'm having a lot of memory, which I believe is correct memory, but I'm being discerning about that. It is in relation to some of my earlier abduction experiences as a child.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
well, that's deep though, because I can't relate to that consciously. I can feel into it, and there would be so many things to have to contend with. Like, who was it, and how do I know, and why me, and what's the story, and and then going through all of this at the same time. Have you had any impressions of, like, the mantids or anything that might be involved? Giving you any heads up
Yeah.
at all? Any hey, it's okay. Any of those?
Look, I think I'm at a level or a place within myself now that I don't really have fear attached to it.
Yeah.
So it's more coming from like a inquisitive mind and wanting to know and understand, so that I can reverse things, heal it, and also support other people that are coming to
Yeah.
me who have similar experiences. Um, and there's a period in my life that I've pinpointed now, and my poor mom, the day before Mother's Day, she gets a phone call from me, and I was a mess that day. Like, it was full blown, and I just said, Mom, I have things to ask you about my childhood. And I'm sure that's not what any mother wants to hear.
Oh my God.
And I could kind of feel like, oh God, like, and I said, first of all, I said, when did I get diagnosed with this thing? When did I start sleepwalking? And when did I start to gain weight as a child? And they all coincided in
So,
this.
wow. So, are you saying that as you what did you say? What did you say?
Tracking and tracing.
Yeah, tracking and tracing. Do you think there's a connection between the physical affliction and the abductions?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
So, like, you're human trying to deal with it, creating. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. 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 I think there's a correlation between what I'm going through in my physical body now, because as the physical symptoms have occurred, it's almost like a memory imprint in my body that is allowing me to then uncover memory and heal and clear through my physical body, going through a release. Does
Does
that
it?
make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Well, I'm just taking it in, and I'm going just in my head. Things are playing out in my head that I've experienced recently. Do you feel like it's something when you bring it into healing? Do you feel like something's being released or removed, or a weight's taken off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's look, it is deep and heavy, and I I didn't even intend on talking about this, because I know, like, after I come through it, like, I don't talk to anyone, and then I come through it and someone says, so what's been happening? And I just go,
Right.
And then I'm like, do you really want to know? And then they're like, whoa, that's heavy. I'm like, yeah. But I see it as a beautiful opportunity, you know? I mean, I've been asking for a long time about wanting to be able to put together pieces from my childhood that I couldn't make sense of. So I think it comes in doses, in small
Yeah,
waves to unpack. Because if it came through all at once, I mean, I'm reevaluating my entire life right now, um, and it's a
wow,
beautiful thing. Mm,
that's deep.
mm.
That's deep. I've had more childhood impressions than normal the last few weeks.
Have
And they're
you?
not like dominant throughout the day, but they're making me question things. They're making me question, like, is that memory real? Because it could be something fantastic. I think I've told
Mm.
you this before, like walking into the lounge and my family's there and everybody's frozen. Like I remember this so many times.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
cool.
Like somebody took a snapshot of the scene and it's a video, but I'm the only thing moving. Or it could be other things, such as, which is interesting, uh, sexual abuse. And they're not like coming in bombarding me. They're just showing up, and it's usually 4 year old, 5 year old, yeah, maybe 3 year old. So
Yeah.
there must be a boatload of information that we had stored or that we were accessible or was accessible to us at those ages, and then the stuff came in to shock the system, like in your case, you know. So that would make
Yeah.
sense that part of us would carry, because it was closer to, you know, to the birth, and the connectivity
Yeah.
was still there, like it is with kids.
Yeah. 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 There's something to this. Are you finding that when the memories come through, is it doing any sort of particular activity or like as you're waking up or?
Sometimes when I'm connecting,
Mm.
because I don't usually look for like, oh, my higher self, just visualize my higher self, and then things will start happening, and this last week's been really intense. Like I can't remember it's
Yeah.
90% of it, but talking to you, I remember little things. But no, I think just they pop in, and I actually see the image
Yeah.
of me,
Mm.
and then so I but I'm just kind of like allowing it to organically present itself. I'm not like attacking it because it's not making me uncomfortable. It's just more like, oh
Yeah.
wow, what's this? Check this out.
Yeah. 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 I can relate to that because it's like a viewing,
Yeah,
it's like people would talk about a life review, but it's this
yeah.
life. And oh, maybe that says something. Are we reviewing this life up until this point to
I don't know.
make
And
it?
like listening to your story, it's almost like you're going back to being an ET. Like sorry. Well, what I meant was like you were an ET. You're like Morgan. You're born on the same day, for Christ's sake. And then you start getting hit with the stuff. And like in your case, you get afflicted, and certain things start to, and like you're going back to that place. That's kind of like what I'm talking about. It's like this stuff's coming in, not so much to go, oh, you need to go do the shadow work, or oh, we're about to drop something on your psyche, or but more like, yeah, I think like you're talking about, like a review, like, oh, look at that.
Mm,
Like one of them
mm,
was me in the lounge, and there were, people in the like family, whatever, and I could see like these, I want to say like 12 orbs around each one of them, like the way you're framed right now, just like like to the
mm.
stomach to above the head, and they all had different colors. My sister had yellow, my dad had blue, my brother had green. And I'm like, okay, what's this? You know. But I'm not like trying to force anything. I'm just letting it all happen.
Just, yeah, just observing. Fascinating.
I'm a bit fascinated right now with this whole idea, whether it's a flash or not, that there's a serious jump, like the
Talk to me
potential.
about the flash, Todd.
Talk to you about the flash. Tell
I
me about
love
it.
it.
Oh, you
Oh no,
tell.
I love it.
You
It's my
talk
favorite topic.
you talk about well that lady that was just on. She's very vocal about it. She does updates every day, and she was
Mm,
kind enough to come on the show, and she talks about it in detail in the way that she's received it, which is that basically everybody wakes up after these 3 days, which she feels is imminent, she feels will happen in 2022. Because I said, "You think it's going to happen this summer?" She goes, "I think it might happen a lot quicker than that." But that
mm,
basically the energies do what they've been doing. They come in such a
mm,
compounded fashion that everybody basically, I don't know if it's literal. Well, I did ask her, so literal, metaphorically, whatever. But the point being, when they get to the other side, and we wake up, so to speak, that everybody pretty much knows what's going on. Now they
mm.
know what path they chose. They know it was their choice. They know it was their journey. They know where they're right where they wanted to be for that moment, and and they also know what they're here to do on a personal level, like on a soul level.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, I used to think that's come on. I mean, it's metaphoric. I mean, is it going to happen on a linear timeline that way? But I don't know. I'm open to it, and
Yeah. I'm open to it too.
yeah. I mean,
I mean,
you're a good example. Like you're going through a lot of stuff right now, like this thing with your car, and a lot of things you haven't mentioned. But you're smiling, you're happy, you're clear, and
mm,
I don't know. To me, regardless of what's been happening, it feels like things are going better and better and better
yeah.
in some weird
Yeah.
way.
No, I would agree with that. And actually, what comes to mind for me is like, I think it was in winter last year. So coming up around 12 months. I couldn't tell you exactly when. I think it was August last year. I remember hearing I get at times I get a very clear voice as I'm waking up
Mm,
that gives me like a sentence.
mm,
And I was told your physical body is what was it? It was like your physical body is being prepared for the flash, or I can't remember it verbatim, but it
okay.
was like basically what they were saying to me is like prepare your physical body because the energy that's coming, you need to be in preparation for that. Um,
How long ago
yeah,
was this?
I reckon it was last August. And normally for me, I get things about, it used to be years out, but now it's about 12 months out.
Katie barred the door. Here we go. And I think maybe some evidence, or potentially, or at least something for people to consider, is this whole thing with appetite and diet. Like, I mean, people are all over the board here. There's some people,
Yeah.
that eat morsels every day, like Morgan, and then and I used to eat a lot. I mean, 6'2", 200 pounds. I mean, I eat my share, but I find I'm only eating once a day,
Mm.
and it's a very good experience. I guess because I'm making sure that whatever I have, I really want and like,
Mm.
kind of
Mm.
like a
Mm.
treat.
Yeah, nice.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's. I didn't realize you're 6'2", Todd.
Yeah,
Oh, you're tall.
yeah. It's
I
funny.
don't know what I
It's funny. I meet people, from Facebook over the years, and that's the first thing they'll say. I mean, 6'2" is not super tall, but I mean, I guess it's tall. But yeah.
I'm 5'2", so you
Oh,
tower over
you're a
me.
midget. I'm kidding. You're a gnome. Fairy. I knew you were a fairy.
Yeah.
So you were getting that last August. Um, yeah, I guess in my own way, I've been getting the lightness, like to be light. And even, like just my metabolism, everything is like keeping me, keeping me light. And I noticed too, and I drink quite a bit of water, but I noticed that it's sometimes not enough. Like
Mm.
whatever's happening to my body, it's dehydrating me.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I was told last weekend that I need to drink more water, and I was told 2 liters a day, and I was like, oh,
Jeez. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. I'll try.
I know. I don't know why I have a problem with it. Sometimes I can do it more than others, but I try to down a bottle of water at least 3 4 times a day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I find that some nights, I mean, like you were talking about, waking up and you're just like beat to hell, Like there's no explanation. Like, yeah,
Do you wake up with like scratches, bruises
not
ever?
anymore. No,
Oh, okay.
I've known a lot of people that have.
Mm.
One of my daughters had them all the time, um, but I haven't had that too much. Mm-mm, not a long time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I caught that show. It was with that guy named Dale, right? Is that
There.
his name? Yeah, I caught
Yeah.
part of his show. It was very good. So you're kind of coming back into that. Going to do it more frequently.
Yeah, I've got quite a few things scheduled in the next week. So yeah, I kind of got the heads up that my because I've been busy doing a lot of sessions, a lot of work for
Mm-hmm.
people for months now, and I feel like I'm getting a bit of a breath from that, just temporarily, and then I'll create some more content. I've got quite a few shows lined up and people sort of in the wings, so I'll bring all that together. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Do you feel that like with this information, which I resonate with this whole thing, like that you got in August? Do you feel like you're going to be put to work, or do you feel like we're going to be able to put our feet up on the desk and
Oh no, no, no. I wish. I wish. I mean, I can go back to the last BQH session that I had where I saw Flash or some type of cosmic energetic event that occurred on the planet. Um, I was given a very specific date, but I won't share that because dates, right?
right, right?
um, um, but I did see like a rainbow energy coming in into the. So I was actually out in space, and I could see this rainbow energy coming in, and I think it was coming from the sun, the central sun, and it was kind of cool because it showed me like a cartoon, and I saw all these ships, and they were moving stuff out the way to make sure there was a direct line to come into that the path was cleared. Whether it's metaphorical, literal, I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, but when it occurred, um, I saw an earthquake, quite a significant earthquake. Um, and I didn't know. I thought that that was more metaphoric because it kind of split down the middle, and then there was like the splitting,
Hmm.
which occurred. And I got really emotional because I knew I was on one side, and there was like a minority on that side, and the majority was on the opposing side.
Hmm.
And I started to well up and cry, and the grief, and oh my goodness. And then all of a sudden, when she asked me to explore the other side and what was happening, I went, oh my God, I've split. I'm on both sides.
Whoa. And
And
I
so
don't know.
it was chaos happening on one side, and then there was like this, what I think I referred to as an in between space, in
I got you. I got
preparing
you.
people for New Earth,
Yeah.
like being schooled again, like
Yeah.
being reborn into a new energetic space that you have to learn how to be in a totally different way to what we've known before.
Yeah.
And so my role was to help usher.
Well, I mean, it would make sense. It would make sense that after this experience was over, that we would utilize the experience and reflect on it together or teach or whatever the case is, and then the other thing about this split, like that resonates, like being split between the two. People talk about going from 5D to 3D and so on, but like does it mean that if we're on this side of it that we can simultaneously experience the two and start to move into our multidimensionality?
Yeah,
And that's part of the teaching as well, I don't know.
I believe so. I think I asked questions around that, and it was clarified. I mean, this session was back in August last year, so I
Well, here
mean,
we go.
timelines change.
There's no
you know,
mistakes, no mistakes whatsoever.
But I think what I took from that was that we're already, I think we spoke about it, I spoke about this recently with someone, maybe last time, that we're already experiencing the multidimensionality consciously, that in our dream space, we may be in the chaos
Yeah.
at times, and then awake life, we're in a different reality, and then it can switch over.
Yeah. And
Um,
like
but I,
the awake time becomes the sleep time, the sleep time becomes the awake time.
exactly, exactly.
Because the lucid
Yeah.
dreams have been amazing. I haven't had any in the last 3 or 4 days, but they've just absolutely been amazing.
Where have
And
you been journeying and traveling to?
uh, well, I've been doing these group visits to the New Earth Grid with Morgan's groups, and those have been really interesting. Not only while you're doing them, but then the next 2 or 3 days afterwards. So I've probably been doing 3 or 4 of those a week, and then I just connect. But in the lucid dreams, there is a correlation between
Mm,
some of the experiences I've had in these groups, which is uh, being in the new earth. Everything's white. Everything has, form and profile, but everything's white and, preparing a house and a lot of,
mm,
uh,
mm.
I don't know, I'm sure you have, like, you've met somebody and there's like soul recognition. And you look at them and they look at you and it's like, oh my God. A lot of that. Like I can remember a lot of scenes walking into a room. It's white, and everyone's got a white on, and everyone is so, I don't know what the word is, but like they're not overwhelmed. They're just so in awe and so happy to see each other and to say we made it, and like a very much like a family atmosphere, like a
Mm,
reunion kind of thing. That's been like the highlights of what I've seen, and then just actively, both in the groups and then on my own, actively planting seeds or setting intentions, and in a different way though, in a way where I set it and I don't look back and I go
mm.
to the next one, right?
Yes.
Like I
Yeah.
don't go back and say, oh, maybe I didn't do something right. I just set it and I'm comfortable with it. And then somebody in one of the groups the other day, because I think what was being put out was something about your new home, and I unexpectedly have to vacate our only residence we've ever had. So I got to be out here in 2 weeks. So I'm dealing with that. I'm like you. I'm in the tower moment, and but the lady, she said, okay, I'm on that. She said, I'm actually becoming my house. And I know that
Mm,
sounds weird, but there's something went off when she said that. I thought, oh wow, it's that easy. I can
mm,
actually create this and
mm.
be this myself.
Yeah.
And so that was a pretty cool. That happened last week.
Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. You're being positioned too. Or
Evidently, evidently,
repositioned.
I don't know, and I just don't know. And see, a little over a year ago, we were sitting downstairs talking, and Morgan has a flash of all of our stuff's in storage.
Mm.
And so, like, I'm trying to get a feel for where I'm going and to set up our
Well,
house, and I have no idea, none
well, you can
whatsoever.
come to, you can, technically, I think you can come to Australia now. You can,
Well, it depends on if I'm in the 3D or the 5D. In the
well, that
3D,
too,
they
right?
won't in the 3D they won't let
But
me out
in
of the
both, I
yeah.
believe, in
Well, in
both.
in the 3D, I can't get out of the country right now. So
Oh,
yeah, I
really?
have legal issues. Yeah. So
I
that's another thing I look at too, because I've been becoming more aware and slowly engaging more. I would just say the portals that are available to me. I'm
see.
like poking my head in and going, okay, what's in here? Like I did one a couple of nights ago. It's actually this portal right here, outside here. And I was laying in bed and I was like, I'm at the portal. And they're like, come on in. And I took like just a few steps in, and everywhere I looked, all I could see was infinite possibilities.
Yeah,
Like, what do
yeah.
you want to do? I want to get over there to her. And yes, you can be there, right? I'm getting that, but look at all this stuff around you, and
Mm-hmm.
that was a pretty amazing one. So I try to spend as much time, if not more, in let's just say 5D or exploring those things,
Yeah.
and obviously less time looking at these illusionary restrictions.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I agree with that because we're creating in that field, in that space, in that energy. And there's so many possibilities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Mm.
like elementals, galactics, uh,
Mm.
fantasy timelines, castles. I mean, it's I saw it. I was just like mind blown, like mind blown. I still have. I probably haven't walked 10 feet in there. I'm just taking a few steps and checking it out. That's just my own experience. I'm not saying that's the way it works for people.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I really feel like this summer's going to be huge. Every time I put my hand out there, it feels like fire, hot, hot, but not in a bad way. Not in a bad way.
Yeah.
More of this. Well, I hope your car situation improves dramatically.
Yeah.
I know that it will.
I know. I know it will too. And good luck with your moving and your
Yeah.
home, creating your home.
When I'm up on my tower, I'll look over to see that you're still in your tower moment too. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, may it all work out in the highest and best for
Mm.
everyone involved, which we know it will. But I'm
I hope
sure
so.
that we'll be in the same physical proximity. My sister,
Yes.
I'm sure we will. I know
Yeah.
this. It's no coincidence. But you,
Yeah.
yeah,
Look
you
forward.
take care and thank you for everything you're doing and thank you for coming in. It's always good to
Thanks,
see you.
Todd. Thank you. Good to see you too.
All right.
All
You
right.
take care. Love you.